Now we'll move to another important visitor to the United States this week. Xi Jinping, the Chinese president, made his way to Seattle over the past couple of days. He arrived in Washington, D.C. earlier this evening and will be meeting with President Obama and possibly strike a cyber arms agreement. Talking Points correspondent Caroline Strange is here in studio to tell us more about his visit and what this agreement could mean. Caroline, thanks for being with us tonight.
Thanks for having me.
How was the Chinese president trip earlier this week, and what are some of the things that has happened? Where'd he go?
Well, it wasn't all business, so while he was in Seattle, he did get a football jersey with his name on it, but there was some business as well. He was in for the 8th U.S. and China Internet Industry Forum in Seattle, and part of that was meeting with executives and CEOs of different companies, and he did place an order for 300 new Boeing jets, mostly 737s. That's going to be around $38 million, and they're going to set up a plant in China, which led to protests outside the facilities there because people don't want to outsource those jobs.
So now we'll focus on his talks in Washington. What came out of today's meeting?
Well, he didn't really get there until late because, like you said, the Pope was there this afternoon, as Mike just talked about. So he came in a little bit later, around 5 o'clock. He's got a state dinner tonight, and what we'll likely see is stuff coming out tomorrow because they haven't really had a chance to talk much business yet.
Now, the cyber arms agreement was only briefly mentioned in the first GOP debate, and it was actually split in the last one. How was this trip seen by the presidential candidates?
Well, some of the presidential candidates, for instance, Scott Walker, was saying, why would we give an official state visit to a country that's been involved in a massive cyber attack on the United States? If we're ever going to send a message to the country that's been involved in a massive if we're going to send a message, wouldn't this be the time they've issued a massive attack against us? And then also, Jeb Bush said canceling a dinner isn't going to change anything, and saying we need to leave the lines of communication open.
So finally, has there been an agreement similar to this cyber arms one before, or is this something new?
This would be the very first one if they are able to strike it. What they've talked about so far wouldn't actually protect against the kinds of attacks that they have been accused of. For instance, theft of government employees' personal data and theft of intellectual property. It would, however, protect against cyber attacks towards power stations, banks, and the like.
Caroline, thanks so much.